It's July the 30th, 2024, and I hope everybody's having a great day today. Today I want to talk about something that, after replying to the comments from yesterday's video, in yesterday's video I was talking about how that I wasn't bathing or brushing my teeth towards the end of my drinking and how bad it had gotten. And a couple people had commented that they had done the same thing, but they always managed to go to the liquor store or to go to the store to get beer or whatever, even though they weren't bathing themselves. And I thought to myself, that's a really good topic to talk about, because I did the same thing. And like I was saying in yesterday's video, that I wasn't taking care of myself. Towards the end of my drinking career, things had gotten really bad, and I wasn't eating, I wasn't bathing correctly, I wasn't brushing my teeth like I said, I wasn't shaving, I just wasn't taking care of the daily necessities that I needed to. My hygiene had gotten bad. I mean, just every aspect of my life had gotten bad. I would wear the same clothes for days on end because I just wouldn't change. I would wear the same pair of shorts and the same shirt for a week. There was a certain shirt that I used to wear. It had holes all in it, and the same pair of shorts. And I've thrown those clothes away since. But I'm not kidding. I would wear the same outfit over and over and over again. It was like my favorite, the most comfortable outfit that I wore. And it was like a black shirt, just like this, but it was a short sleeve and a pair of black shorts that I wore every single day. And man, those clothes would stink. And the smell of like that musky, like alcohol smell that you sweat out the next day when you're hungover, my clothes just reeked of that all the time. But the point of what I'm going to talk about today is that, how I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't eating, wasn't changing my clothes, I wasn't brushing my teeth, but man, I made it to the liquor store every day, no matter what. And one of the things about it is that, when I would drink, and I've spoken about this, I've made a couple of videos about anxiety, but my anxiety used to be horrible. I would get anxiety that would be through the roof the next day after I drank, and it was just, I had anxiety all the time when I was drinking. And what's crazy about it is that I still get anxiety, but nowhere near the amount or level of anxiety that I used to have when I was a drinker. I was afraid to even get in my car and drive. I used to get this feeling like I was going to pass out, especially, and I've spoken about this, when I would get up to a stoplight and had to sit at a stoplight. I always felt like I would start feeling lightheaded. I would start seeing like little stars and stuff like that, and like little black spots. And my fingers would start tingling, my feet would start tingling, and I would just feel like I was going to pass out. I always had this idea like I was going to pass out, my foot was going to slide off the brake pedal, and I was going to roll out into the middle of the intersection and get into a car accident. And I knew that if I did, that my BAC was at the level that I was going to get a DUI if I got into a car accident. And my BAC was always over the limit. Even when I woke up the next morning, it didn't matter. My BAC was always over the limit, no matter what time of the day it was, because, if I got up that morning and just drove straight somewhere, I had drank so much the night before that I was already over the legal limit. And then, my thing is that I would wake up every single morning and start drinking first thing. So, not only was my BAC already over the legal limit, but then I was adding on top of it. And I had to have a couple drinks before I could even leave my home because my anxiety would be so bad. But the point of what I'm trying to say is that even though my anxiety level was through the roof, I was afraid to drive, I hadn't washed myself, hadn't eaten probably in a couple days, I always managed to make it to the liquor store. No matter what. There was not a day that I just said, I can't do it today. I remember so many times, going to the liquor store, and I would get on my I would get on my phone and get on the GPS. And I've spoken about this too, but I would get on the GPS and start looking for back routes to the liquor store so I wouldn't have to get onto a main road because I had such bad anxiety. I remember laying in my bed in the morning on my GPS and like searching for back ways to get to the liquor store. And when I would find one, how excited I would get, telling myself, okay, I can actually make it to the liquor store today and not have to get on a main road. And, you know, get up in the morning, have a drink or two, and then, you know, here I am. I would be pacing back and forth waiting for the liquor store to open up. And the liquor store opened up at 9 a.m. in the morning. And, you know, I would be the first one there. So many mornings of, I remember being at the liquor store, and as soon as they would turn that light on, you know, the open light, or I saw the person that works at the liquor store, when they would come and open up the front door, first one every time opening up that door in the morning. I was always the first one in there. I wonder what those people thought. I'm sure they see that all the time. And you know, the thing is that it wouldn't, you know, like there were days I'd pull up and there'd be somebody else there. And the thing about it is too, is I would always see the same people. So it wasn't just me. There would be other people that I would recognize, that I would see at the same liquor store. So if I had my liquor stores on rotation too. I didn't just go to the same liquor store every day. That's just not what I did, because I did not want them to know that I was drinking as much as I was. And I guess I didn't go to the liquor store every single day, but at least every other day. Now, there were some days that I did go every day, because I would go buy a half gallon of vodka and, you know, I'd drink it all. Or I would drink just about all of it. You know, I'd wake up in the morning, there'd be that much at the bottom of the bottle, just enough for me to make myself a stiff drink for me to be able to make it, you know, to the liquor store that morning. And I always had the same routine. I'd wake up in the morning, make myself a drink, 2 Advil, take those, some kind of acid indigestion medication, whether it be like Tums or Pepsid AC or whatever the acid indigestion medication I was taking for that day. You know, it was always Advil, acid indigestion medication, and then I would have a drink. And then I would, you know, have to figure out what I was going to do as far as money-wise to purchase my liquor for that day, because I've spoken about this, but I just couldn't use my card at the liquor store, so I always had to figure out a way to come up with some cash to go buy it. And I never stole or anything like that, but it would, you know, I would count change, or I'd have some money set aside that I got from a tip from somebody, from doing like a chef's table or something. And then I would go to a liquor store, and I would have to crank my seat all the way up. I would basically be sitting on the steering wheel. Like, it would be this close to me, because my anxiety level would be so high. I'd have to put my seatbelt on. I'd be all up on the steering wheel. I'd have the air conditioner turned all the way up full blast, blowing on me. I'd be smacking myself in the face, trying to like get myself together, because I would be so lightheaded driving to the store because I was so hungover. But the thing about it is that it didn't matter how bad that I felt. It didn't matter. I had to go to that liquor store in order to get my fix. And the thing about it is that, you know, if I felt really bad and, you know, I couldn't make it to one of my jobs that day, I would skip that, but I would still go to that liquor store every single time. I remember one time my Jeep had broken down, and I was on the way to a job. My Jeep had broken down, and I had to call a tow truck to come get it, and I couldn't go to my job that day. So I called someone to come pick me up after the tow truck came and picked up my Jeep. I had someone come pick me up. They drove all the way out here to my house because I said I needed a ride for something else. I got someone to come get me, to drive me to a store, and then I said, hey, can you stop at the liquor store real quick? And I went in there and bought like 5 bottles of liquor, and then I came back home and just drank the whole entire day with no ride, whatever. I was just home, and I was happy about it because I didn't have anywhere I had to be, and I could just sit here and drink. And looking back on it now, I remember being kind of happy that my Jeep was in the shop because I couldn't do anything else. So I just sat at home for like a whole week while my Jeep was in the shop and just got tanked the whole entire time. And then another time too, I remember, because, you know, I could not bring liquor inside of my house. I just couldn't. I mean, my wife would find it, and if my wife found my liquor, it got poured out. So I was always very careful about where I had my liquor at. And one time I was driving up my driveway, and as soon as I started coming up the driveway, I saw that my wife was home. I threw one of my liquor bottles out the window into the woods. It was a plastic bottle. Well, it was a cheap bottle of vodka. And I remember coming up the driveway, and I saw my wife's car was there. So I threw the bottle off into the woods, which is right over here, and went ahead and went inside that night. And the next day, I got up to go find the bottle that I had thrown off into the woods to stash. It wasn't there. I couldn't find it. Guys, I spent like 3 or 4 days digging through those woods trying to find that bottle. And then the funny thing about, I never found it. I think my neighbor's dog must have come through the woods and found that bottle and took off with it, because I was never able to find that bottle. There is still a half a gallon of vodka somewhere in these woods that is completely full. I have no idea where it is. I have no idea. But it's somewhere out here. And one day, I'm sure I'm going to come across it. But it was right down here, and I'd thrown it off into a bunch of azalea bushes. We have like wild azalea bushes that grow in these woods right here, and they're very, very, very thick. And I had thrown it right into those bushes. I was out there with a saw, cutting stuff down, digging through. I could have gotten bit by a snake. And I mean, I was in some really thick brush digging around in this stuff, trying to find my bottle. I spent like 3 or 4 days digging through, and all day long going through those woods trying to find that bottle. I just couldn't give up on it. I had to find it, and I never did. I remember being so frustrated because I could not find my vodka bottle. And I eventually had to go back to the store and get another bottle. But somewhere in those woods, there's a vodka bottle that I threw out one day, and I don't know where it is. But just the crazy stuff that, you know, that we would do, you know, in order to get our fix. Just looking back on it, all the crazy things that I did back in those days. And, you know, like I said, one of the subscribers, David, was talking about how, you know, he wouldn't even take the time to splash water on his face. But he made it to that liquor store. And man, I know exactly what he's talking about, because I was the same exact way. I did not take 5 minutes to splash some water on my face, brush my teeth, anything, you know. It was just get up out of bed, make a drink, go to liquor store, come home, rinse and repeat. The same thing that I always did. I will come home and then have a drink or two, go outside, smoke a couple cigarettes, you know, screw around on my phone for a little bit, go inside, lay back down on my bed, turn on Netflix, watch movies, and get drunk all day long. And that's what I did. And I wasn't doing anything with myself. I reeked of alcohol, cigarettes, BO. I mean, I was disgusting. All I wanted to do was just lay in my bed and just be a total piece of you-know-what all day long, because I just wanted to lay in bed and drink and get drunk. I had totally checked out at the end. I mean, really checked out at the end of my drinking career. I was not present in my life at all. And my life had become totally absorbed with my drinking. That is all I cared about. Nothing got in the way of my alcohol consumption. Absolutely nothing. No one, nothing. I don't care what anybody said to me. I don't care what the situation was I was in. I don't care where I had to be. It didn't matter. Nothing came in between me and the bottle. And it's just crazy to think about that it gets to that point. But alcohol is such a destructive and addictive substance that I've spoken about this so many times, but it just slowly but steadily just creeps into your life. We start off drinking at a young age, or whenever we start drinking, and we have a good time, especially when we're younger. You know, we have a couple drinks, we feel good, and when you're young, you wake up the next day, you're not hungover, you haven't gotten to the point where you're drinking every day yet. It's a good time. And then, you know, well, that good time, well, you want to start feeling good all the time. And, you know, it goes from you just drinking on the weekend to you're drinking here and there on a weekday, and then next thing you know, you're drinking every night, And then you end up like I was, drinking all day, every day, nonstop. Your life becomes an obsession with alcohol, and that's all it is. My life was nothing but booze. That's all I cared about. That's all my life was. That's all I thought about. I was completely obsessed. And it's just insane to think about. And now that I don't have that ball and chain on me anymore, life is just so much better. So if you're out there right now, you're struggling, you know, you've been drinking for a long time and you're trying to figure out how to stop, first off, please speak with a doctor. Alcohol can be life-threatening if you stop abruptly. It's definitely an important thing to do, to speak to your doctor and see if they might want to do a medical detox. I went through a medical detox. It helped me tremendously. I tried stopping over and over and over again. I could never be successful because I just didn't have the willpower to do it. I relapsed over 100 times. It wasn't until I went through a medical detox and I was basically told, if you do ever drink again, you're going to lose your life. And that's what made me stop. But the thing is that if I can stop, anybody can quit. And that is one thing that I know for sure, because like I said, I drank for decades, and I drank for at least a decade, like nonstop, nothing but hard liquor, and I had become completely obsessed. I was so deep inside the bottle that I did not see any way out. And I finally got there. And life on this side of the addiction is so much better. Not having to worry about where my next bottle is going to come from. Not having to worry about driving drunk anymore. Or am I going to get pulled over? Looking in the rearview mirror. Every single Crown Victoria that you see behind you, you think it's a cop. Every time you see a Ford Explorer, you think it's a police officer. Any white vehicle that you see, or anytime you see those headlights that look like a Crown Vic, you're worried that it's a police officer. Or, you know, driving down any road, you're worried that the next curve you're about to go around, that there's going to be a roadblock sitting there waiting on you. Just all the things that you don't have to worry about anymore. Where are you going to get your next bottle? How am I going to get the money for that? Just every single last aspect of it. You know, the going to work hungover, the trying to sneak mini bottles in, that constant looking at the clock all day long while you're at work, you know, can't wait until 4 o'clock comes around just so you can get that drink. You're not paying attention to what you're doing. You're rushing through things because all you care about is getting your stuff done so that you can go drink again. The insanity of it all. You can break free from it. I promise you that you can. Like I said, if I can do it, anybody can. I was in such a bad place. I wasn't taking care of myself. I had completely lost all hope for life. I was in such a dark, lost place. And here I am now, and it's so much brighter here on the other side. If you're struggling right now, I'm so sorry, but you can work your way through it. It's not easy, I know, but one day at a time, being present in this moment, not thinking about yesterday. If you dropped the ball and you relapsed yesterday, so what? It's part of the journey. I did it so many times. Just pick yourself back up and try again today. If you fail again today, try again tomorrow. Just keep trying. I said this the other day. You are not a failure until you stop trying. As long as you're continuing to try, then you're doing the right thing. You're not a failure. This is not easy to do. It's not. I tried to quit so many times and failed and failed and failed and failed, and because I would just give up. I wouldn't try again. You know, it would. And the only time that I would really try is when my wife was bugging me and giving me a hard time, or she was telling me that I'm gonna leave you if you don't stop drinking, and I would have to think about I'm gonna lose my wife and my kids, and I still couldn't stop for them. I still couldn't stop for my family, even though my wife told me that she was gonna leave. I just kept doing it. And it wasn't until I almost lost my life that I finally got my act together and I stopped. But like I said, you can stop. If I can do it, so can you. And for all of you guys that are out there that are making it through this day today, and you're struggling and you're pacing around and you're dealing with the withdrawals and the cravings, I'm so proud of you. Just stick through it. You don't have much longer to go. Just make it through the rest of the day. Go to sleep tonight. Tomorrow's another day. One more day at a time. That's all you got to do. Thank you so much for watching today, guys. I greatly do appreciate it. And until tomorrow, I will see y'all then. Y'all have a great day.